Good morning. You're going to go with me this morning on my walk, and we're going to take a look at 4 different animals and look at their taxonomy. And one of the animals we're going to look at today is chickens, emu, goats, and horses. So I've already posted the taxonomy of these 4 animals, and then we're going to be looking at what are their similarities and what are their differences. So walk with me. We're going to go check on the goats first. Here we go. So exactly 145 days ago, I bred 6 of my dairy goats. They're Nigerian dwarfs. And I bred them with our buck cornbread. And as of today is their first due date. They say that the gestation period for dairy goats is anywhere from 145 to 150 days. So today is day 145. So every day I will check and make sure they haven't had their babies. Get you around. So there's more goat pens over there. There's 2 goats over there that are due. But we'll check on these first. So this is a bridge. My father built this 30 years ago, so we could walk back and forth from my parents' house to my house. So it's in need of repair, but it's still okay. So this is a bridge, and the bridge actually goes over a brook called Sherry Brook. Somebody over 100 years ago named it that, but as you can see, Sherry Brook is completely empty because of the drought. So hopefully it will rain in April because we need it. But let's head on to the goats. So we already looked at chickens yesterday, so I already uploaded the taxonomy of chickens, so you can use that as a comparison when I show you the emu. Come on, girls! So we're looking to see if they're all standing up. If anybody doesn't come, then maybe they have babies. But it looks like they're all coming. Come on, girls! So you're going to notice when you look at the taxonomy, the scientific name, like I taught you before, is genus and species. They don't like the camera. That's funny. And the first name in the scientific name is always capitalized, and it is the genus. And the second word that follows the capitalized word is the species. So remember, by definition, species are animals that can breed, and their offspring can breed. They're not going to have offspring that's considered sterile or anything like that. So you can see some of these goats are really showing. They're twice as wide as they usually are. The first thing you may notice is the lack of horns. So we use these goats for 4-H club, and 3 of them went to the fair this year, and goats are not allowed to have horns at the fair. So some of these goats have had their horns removed when they were born. It's called disbudding. I take them to the local vet to get that done. And this one right here, she was disbudded when she was born. But her sister, right here, Mocha, she was born without horns. So that means naturally polled. So the reason she was born without horns is because her father is also naturally polled, and he does not have horns. Where the mother over there is Piper. She had horns, but again, when she was born, they were removed. And so she does not have horns by looking at her, but in her DNA and her genetics, she does still have horns. And so, of course, she'll pass on offspring that has horns. This is Sassy. This is my neighbor's goat. And actually, cornbread, the one we bred all of these goats to, is hers as well. So this is our first group project where we're breeding her goats with my goats. She also was born with horns, and hers were also removed. So, who do you think is going to have babies first? We shall see. The next door neighbor thinks it's going to be Latte, the one right here. And I think she is correct. So we'll see. So the other animal we were going to focus on today is the taxonomy of an emu. So hopefully I can find him. Looks like before I get to him, I'm going to come up to the horses. So we'll do horses next. So as soon as you're comparing the family names to the genus and species, you're going to notice there's a big difference right there. These animals are not going to have the same family because they're from different families. This is RW. He's a 27-year-old gelding. The gelding means that he has been altered. So when he was about 3 years old, he was a racehorse. He was very high-strung, let's just say, and he got altered. And he was born here, and he will die here. And his name is RW. So he's a horse. Say hi. Yeah. It's kind of hard to film somebody when they walk right up to you. There's Boogie way over here. See if he's going to come. There he is. He's a quarter horse. So when we talk about breed, horses actually get broken down into breeds. So this is a quarter horse, whereas RW, the one you saw before, is an Arabian. The goats you saw are Nigerian dwarfs. So those are all the breed names. You won't usually see breed names in taxonomy. And of course the common name would be horse and goat. So it looks like he is not coming. But another thing that's happening right here, we may as well talk about it, is all the butterflies are coming and starting to lay their eggs. So this right here is butterfly weed. And this is what the butterflies are attracted to. And this is where they will lay, there's one right there. This is where they'll lay their eggs. Once the eggs hatch, the larvae, which will then become caterpillars, they'll start feeding on the leaves. So when I look at this plant and I see a stem that has all the leaves removed, that kind of tells me there's probably a caterpillar living here. I'm not as good as seeing them as my husband. Let's see what this is. This is a snail. That's not what we're looking for. Like I said, I'm not as good. I know there's one here somewhere. I see a lot of snails on this plant. Here comes Boogie. He also is a gelding. Horses are herd animals, so they don't like to be alone. So RW, this is his friend, and they usually hang out together. They're usually going to be found in the same pasture most of the time. So let's go find the emu next. RW, you can tell he's losing some of his muscle conformation. Like I said, he's 27. So even though they're both fed the same amount, you can still see a lot of muscle on Boogie compared to RW. I see the emu. I just got to get there. The horses are following me. Let you see them. They're following me. The emu has been here for over 20 years. If you notice the lifespan on the document that I uploaded, it says they lived to 20 years. So I guess this guy is living on borrowed time. because, oh, he sees me. There he is. So 18 years ago we had a mate, but she passed away. When she laid her eggs, they were, oh, bigger than the size of a softball, and they're the most beautiful color blue, and they were covered in specks. You see his neck? You notice his neck is blue. The same thing is true for chickens. A lot of times the color of their skin is the color their eggs are going to be. So that's pretty interesting. When you look in the earlobe of a chicken, if you see it, the skin is white, then they usually lay white eggs. This horse is all over me. But there's the emu right there. I can get a little closer. His name is Jack, by the way. There he is. But he's lived with these horses his whole life. He actually eats horse food. He drinks out of their water. Very rarely do you see them interact, but a lot of the animals we get are animals that other people no longer want, and that's how we got Jack the emu. There comes our W. He's got to be nosy, see what we're doing. And there's Boogie right there. So we covered goats, we covered emus, we covered chickens already, and we covered, here he comes, goats, dairy goats. So this is my mom's house, and this is where I grew up. We moved here in 1971 when I was just a small child. So I've never not lived on this property that I can remember. The stables is in the back there. We'll go there one day once we got baby goats in there. Here's my neighbor's house. I told you, me and her are breeding goats together. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to post some questions about taxonomy, and you're going to use the 4 pieces of, the horse just ran into me. You're going to use the 4 uploads that I did. You're going to compare the taxonomy of these different animals. Let's see if we see the goats once more. There's bloodhound dogs over there, along with my dog, an Anatolian Shepherd. We're going to do a lesson on dogs. We're going to watch the video, The Science of Dogs, because no animal has been more bred, more changed than the dog. There's one last shot of the goats that are all expecting. Okay, this is Miss Bubblets. Bye-bye.